like how long I was gonna be waiting, and then I ran into somebody I knew, and I was like, yeah.
Now that we're live, before we start, we have to do tradition calisthenics and 50 push-ups. There you go.
Oh, he's kidding. You're kidding. It's not.
What was the thing they used to make us do in high school? They don't call them that anymore. They used to call them kip-ups.
Kip-ups, yes.
What do they call that
I
now,
can do a
Sam?
kip-up, where you lay on your back, you
Yeah.
flip up on your feet.
Isn't it called something different now?
I don't know.
My daughter calls it a pop-up, but.
Is that
Pop-up.
A
A
pop-up?
pop-up.
I don't know. I knew it as a kip-up.
Yeah, it was a kip-up
I
when I
used
was.
to be able to do them a lot. I don't know about now.
But you
Calls
could.
it a
Have them
pop-up.
practice.
I sure couldn't. All right, here we go.
All right.
You nervous? A little bit? You should be. I'm so close. The mic moves around everywhere. You can move it everywhere. Up and down.
That's good.
Anywhere you like.
Put it. I try to talk right into it. You're supposed to put it within.
Yeah.
Do you?
You got, well, like a
A
fist.
fist.
Oh, so I should have
Yeah,
taught
I ended up
you.
making out with it and everything.
Well, but
Surprised AC hasn't called me out on it yet.
You're a valued client. You can do anything you want.
I don't know
That's
how.
the way we operate here at
Yeah,
iHeartMedia.
is that right?
That's right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Jet Radio 1400. I am the guy pushing the buttons, Alan Craig.
Come on, man.
Well, that's all I'm doing, dude.
You're more than that.
I'm trying to be humble.
You're more than that. Come on.
I'm trying to be humble.
This is Sam Catania, Catania Chronicles number 49. And don't forget, we're going to be doing the AC show soon.
I know.
Get ready.
Chance to talk about myself.
Yes.
I've been waiting 50 years for
It's
this.
going to be 1 hour of just...
Since I learned how to talk.
If we get carried away, we might extend it into a 2 or 3 hour block.
Yeah.
We'll see.
If the,
If I
if
can
the
get-
ratings can bear it.
If I can get a word in, we're going to find out, aren't we? And today's special guest, AC, what number is this? Catania Chronicles.
I believe this is number 49.
I just told you.
Yeah.
Did you hear me? Because you don't count them.
I don't count them, but
You just heard
I
me.
know 50's coming up, that's all.
Okay, is that what it is?
I took,
I just said
knew,
it.
I knew 50's tomorrow, so I went back one.
So tomorrow's a big show,
Yeah,
if AC shows up.
they'll be here.
Tomorrow's a big show. Tomorrow's Catania Chronicles number 50, and we're going to be telling the life story of myself and the behind the scenes for Sam Catania Painting. But today's show, number 49, is, what's your name? You look familiar.
Denise Peterson.
Yeah.
And nobody heard you. You're not even close to that mic. You
Denise
weren't even
Peterson.
close. Swallow
There
that
you
thing.
are. There
Swallow
you
that
are.
thing.
I got it.
Here.
Thank you.
Move it to you. I move it around. I've actually pulled it out of the.
You
oh, yeah,
have.
the whole
You,
mic.
you've
I did-
destroyed the,
I did a classic mic drop, and the whole mic fell apart. and
yeah,
everything.
the whole apparatus came apart.
Everything.
In the middle of the
All nuts
show.
and bolts right in the middle of the show. It fell on the floor. Oh yeah.
So if you're nervous at all, Denise,
Just a little bit.
know that
She's
we've
nervous.
had disasters here, so
Okay.
nothing can happen to
And
rival.
yeah, and we're gonna teach Denise that you can move the mic around, because if you don't talk into the mic, they're not gonna hear you.
Okay.
Because I've had shows, AC, where people have said, hey, try to get them closer to the mic,
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
hard to hear them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just gonna keep it right there.
Yep.
That might not.
That sounds
Within a
good.
fist.
That sounds good.
But Denise has been nervous. That's good. I
A little
wanna point
bit.
that out. That's good. That's good. So Denise owns,
Consistency over perfection.
if you didn't hear that, consistency over perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do. It's a women's gym. It's a little small studio that I own. It's on 4801 Peach Street.
And 4801, people don't pay attention to addresses. Give landmarks. It's up by,
It's in
it's
the
up by
Steel.
Play World. It's up
Mhm.
by Steel City.
Yep, it's in the Steel City Pizza Plaza.
And-
I'm right next to the nail salon.
Okay,
Kind
and
of tucked in the corner there.
the new restaurant there.
Firestones is
Firestone.
up
Oh,
there,
yeah,
yes,
which is-
yes.
It's up by New Firestones. If
Great
you're going up
place.
Beach, it's on the left.
Yep.
And you've been open, has it been a year yet? Year and a half? Year?
I'm going on it'll be my second year coming up. I've been there 2 years.
Already?
Mm-hmm.
2 years
Yeah.
already?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yep, and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love it.
I mean, it's important what you do because, well, there are obviously a lot of women.
I want people to hear you.
There are a lot of women who, don't mind working out in co-ed places. It can be intimidating and downright creepy for a lot of women.
So, yeah, so little backstory. I was doing CrossFit. I did CrossFit for a few years and I loved it. However, I was just wasn't happy doing that anymore, so I needed to do something else. And I thought, well, I'm gonna go to another gym and go. I
Yeah.
have not ever been to like a big box gym or whatever, but I was very intimidated.
Mhm.
There was a couple days where I actually pulled my car into the parking lot and sat in my car, but I never got out of my car.
Oh, really?
Truth. I was very intimidated and,
Intimidation is a very big thing when it comes to workout facilities.
Oh, sure.
It really is.
Absolutely it is.
it is, you need to be comfortable to be able to, move around the gym and, be confident, and that should be your safe place.
Absolutely it should.
You should feel safe and comfortable there. But it took me a while. And I eventually got, in and was doing workouts and things. And often I would see women come in and they would never leave the cardio equipment. Like they came in and
Mhm.
they just.
That's called finding your comfort zone. Finding
Yes.
your comfort zone and you're scared you're not comfortable enough to.
Right.
Yes, they
Float around
wouldn't
the
come
gym.
out to like the main floor, like where the weights were, where, the men were working. They
Yeah.
weren't comfortable, they're not confident, maybe didn't know how to use the equipment or, just happy being on the treadmill. And I saw it a lot and I thought to myself, I'm like, you need to, step out of your comfort zone and start lifting weights and seeing what you're capable of doing.
Yeah.
Challenge yourself.
There are so many things that, whether you're a man or a woman, so many things that when you want to start working out, can become blocks and barriers for men and women. And it's all comfort zone stuff, but it's like, when I go, I'm basically a treadmill walker, I'll be perfectly honest with you. But when I go, and every time a woman walks in like baggy clothes, I'm like, she's wearing those clothes for a reason. Because she feels intimidated and because she doesn't want, guys staring at her while she's trying to do what she needs to do.
Correct.
And that's why a lot of times women like to work out with women.
Right, yes, and also on that note too, like, when you're working out with, just women, they are all going through the same thing that you are going
Yeah.
through on the daily. You're dealing with kids, you're dealing with jobs, employment, spouses, all of the things, laundry, dishes, homework, all of those things. And when you surround yourself with people that you can relate to
Mhm.
and you have something in common with, you're more comfortable. And so that's what I've been trying to build, is basically a community of strong women who come together a few times a week and we do have fun, and get stronger and be more confident and have self-esteem.
Yeah.
Because that carries over into every day.
Yeah,
Like,
and just naturally encouraging of each other because they are similar and they do come from similar places.
Right.
Hey, Alan,
Yes, sir.
she talked about how nervous she was.
Yeah.
I am nervous.
She looks like a natural.
She's doing
She's
great.
just rolling
She's doing
with it.
fabulous.
She looks like a natural.
Thank you.
We should
I'm
call
nervous.
we should call this the Denise Show.
Well, it is the Denise Show, but I'll tell you,
Thank
Denise,
you.
what I've discovered, having done radio for a long time, is 99% of the time, if people are talking about what they're passionate about,
Correct.
they speak well and it's interesting.
Right.
You
right.
know, and
It-
you're
oh,
clearly passionate about
I
what you
am
do.
so very passionate about it. I see,
I'm asking for listeners,
Mhm.
new listeners that are just tuning in, watching, or listening to us. Is this just, is it a females only gym?
I am a females only gym.
How does somebody come and talk to you and get a tour? People are gonna be intimidated. How do they come and talk to you and say, hey, show me what this is all about?
So if anyone is interested, in coming to see what we're all about, they are more than welcome to try classes. I tell them, like, I want it to be a good fit for you, I want it to be a good fit for me as a trainer, instructor. I want to make sure that you're comfortable, so I offer everyone, come try it for free. Come try it for free, it doesn't cost you anything, it's an hour. See if it's a good fit for you, see if it's something that you would like. And if they're still on the fence, come back again for free. It's okay. Because I do want to make sure that it is for them. Like I said, like, when women allow themselves an hour out of the day for themselves, like to take care of themselves, to get fit, whether they're doing yoga or running or whatever, you want to make sure that that's your best hour.
Sure.
That's your best hour of your day. So I offer, say, come try it for free. Reach out to me.
How do they reach out to you though?
You can call me, or you can reach out to me via social media.
How do we call you?
My phone number is 814-823-4992, or you can reach out to me via social media.
One thing that I wonder if people have a misconception, when you mentioned the big box gyms. Now, people know we can join a big box gym and go in there and say, well, maybe I just want to, have a better cardiac health and tone up a wee bit. Do people have a misconception that going to a small gym, a private gym, then they have to be ultra intense?
Well, I think there's a whole misconception in general when it comes to people, whether I say if you're like couch to gym, you've not ever been to a gym, you've never worked out. And I think there's just a misconception overall that people think that, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go join a gym, I'm gonna live on lettuce, and I'm gonna have to go spend 3 hours in the gym a day.
And I'm gonna get big and swole like Sam is.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey.
But
Yeah, but that's your path, that's what you like, that's my point, it's not what I do.
But it's not true, like a half
I was
hour,
only messing with you.
you can go do a half hour of cardio, a half hour of weights, and be in and out in an hour. And I think that, I just think there's a misconception of overall. And
Yeah.
a lot of times too, there's a misconception that people think that there's, it's all about how you look and how you want to look.
Right.
And for women, it's how we feel.
Sure.
Muscles are great, but how do you feel? Like, we need to feel strong. And
It's about overall health.
Exactly. It's about overall health, is being able to chase after your children and,
Speaking of chasing after, you definitely are not chasing after that mic. I think she's very natural, I think.
No,
But
she's
she's
doing great.
scared of that mic.
Well, yeah.
She is.
But
I'm just afraid people are
don't
gonna
worry.
hear you.
We've got a good processor on
my face
it, you're
is probably
fine.
beet red right now.
No, it's not. You're good. You're
No.
good.
But no, I do. I think
But
it's
it
just a
is. You're right. It's
misconception,
about
and it can be
overall
scared.
health.
Yes, it's about overall health, and I kind of preach that like throughout my classes. Like I program workouts, and we do workouts, and it's group fitness, it's group women's fitness, and like I go around the room like, how do you feel, and what are you having for dinner, and just different things like that, so that, because I'm about how do you feel. I say we're training for life.
Right.
I'm not training for an event. I don't go to the gym every day because I'm gonna, have something coming up or I'm competing. I'm training for life. Like, our goal is to stay upright so that we get to do what we love every day.
Well, yeah, and another misconception, Sam and I have talked about this, in different shows that had a fitness theme. Another misconception that people have is to feel better and look better, I have to do so much. And what I've found is when I started, for myself, like I said, I'm a treadmill guy, I'm a peninsula walking guy. If I'm walking a mile or two, a few times a week, oh my God, just the way I feel. The difference with just, and I don't want to say minimal effort, but just this moderate amount of effort, you get results. So you don't have to be all in and going 5 days a week
And you don't, no. And I always say this too, like, exercise, more physically you need it, but mentally you need that. Mentally, you need that. And especially now we went through a pandemic and COVID, and everything, and the isolation, physical fitness, and that you need it mentally.
Yeah.
Just to move your body and decompress a little bit.
Well, and especially, I mean, the stresses of being a woman in America in 2023,
Thank
that's
you.
a lot.
Thank you.
It's a lot.
Facts. It is a lot. I said, I think women undervalue what they do and what they bring
Mhm.
on the daily. You're getting up and you're tackling the children and everything's to make sure that women make sure everybody have what they need to get through the day. The lunches are packed, the homework's
Mhm.
done, all of those things. What did you do for yourself? So I think
Yes.
when you allow yourself that time, you are more productive and you are, mentally in a better headspace to
Mhm.
provide and to nurture and to give everyone everything that they need through the day. And I think a lot of women don't do that. They don't give them that
Oh, I think that's
time.
absolutely true.
And to walk into a gym, the amount of knowledge, education, and research that you do can help minimize the lack of confidence you have walking into a gym. It can help minimize being intimidated,
Oh, yeah.
but it won't overcome it. It won't completely overcome it. You have to break that barrier.
Right, you do, and I think once you, as far as intimidation with equipment and intimidation with weights or all of those things, and I think once you start to do it and then you start to see results within yourself,
Mhm.
then you have confidence, and then you want to go and you want to do more and you want to see what you're capable of. And I've said this numerous times, that I feel like as a female, if you don't push yourself just a little bit, to see what you're capable of, how are you going to know what you
Yeah.
are capable of?
Yeah.
I
It's
wanna-
self-rewarding, I think. You have
I think so.
It's very self-rewarding to know, oh, I did that. Oh, I can do that. I didn't think I could do that. And it builds self-confidence and it builds self-esteem. So
Mhm.
it's good.
And I want to throw out there that I've been going to the gym since I was 14, so almost 37 years. And when you see somebody who is newer, somebody who looks a little timid, walking into the gym, whether it's male or female, the natural part of you wants to actually watch them and help them, not intimidate them. We don't want to intimidate you.
I think so, and I think sometimes, we carry around these high school ideas of fitness, because I've always said, as a person who has no coordination whatsoever, can't catch a baseball, can't throw a football, can't, despite being tall, can't dunk.
But AC, you can play one hell of a guitar.
I tell you what, but when I was growing up,
Right.
I was so bad in gym class, I'm like, this isn't for me, man, I hate this. And it's like, and it's funny because once you get to be an adult, unless you're in a softball league or you're, whatever, it's all about taking care of yourself. It's all
Right.
about doing, doing aerobic exercise and doing cardiac, and it's not about, this guy's better at this than me. It's about, I'm taking care of me.
Right.
And it's a huge shift, and some people never make that transition.
Right, and I had this conversation with somebody yesterday, who recently joined a gym, a gentleman that I know, and he had made the comment that, his dad had fallen, and he watched his dad fall and he couldn't get up, and he was like, I don't want to be that. He's like, so I'm here because I want to be able to, if I fall, I want to heal faster, I want to recover faster from an injury, whatever the case may be. But my point is, find your why. What's your why?
Oh, yeah.
Great point.
That's
Very great
excellent.
point.
What's your why? So, why, what's your why? Is it your mental health? Is it your, your emotional health? Is it your physical well-being? Is it, mine is, I had my daughter late, I have 3 children, but I had my youngest daughter later in age, and I was like, I want to be around for her. she's gonna be 18 now, but I was like, I wanna be around for her and I wanna be able to, you know, watch her have children and watch her graduate and all of those things. So I need to take better care of myself
Yeah.
to do that. So find your why, like what is your why? What is your reason for wanting to be healthy and
Yeah.
get healthy?
And I
And
thi-
that's a little motivator.
Yeah, and I think that why should be about you too. Don't make it about other
Absolutely.
people. You know, don't make, oh, I
Absolutely.
wanna show this person they're demonstrating. No, no, no.
Absolutely.
Make it about you.
Make it
Yes,
about you.
yes, and I say that too.
Do it for
like-
you.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I say that too, like I'll have somebody, well, it happens, but I have people reach out to me like for personal training, and they'll say, I have an event coming up and I want to be able to fit into this dress.
Right.
And I say, that's great, we can get you there. But that shouldn't be your main goal.
Right.
It shouldn't be your main goal, and if it's a short-term goal, it's not going to be, like, it's longevity. We need
Mhm.
longevity, we need to look past that. Like, where do
I'd
you
like
want,
to see you carry on this lifestyle afterwards.
absolutely, where do you want to be in 5 years from now? Where do you want to be in 10 years from now? So, it's.
And
Yeah.
if that's your motivational start to fit into that dress, that's great. Get started.
That,
Carry it on.
but you need to continue, you need to continue with that, and it is a lifestyle change, and again.
For those of you just tuning in, I'd like to throw a shout out because you don't realize, if you didn't catch the beginning of the show, the name of Denise's gym is Consistency Over Perfection.
Which I love in
Which-
every
Thank
way.
you.
I
Thank
love
you.
Which is
that phrase.
brilliant because that's actually what we're talking about right now. You're not in a gym searching for perfection. You shouldn't
Mhm.
be. I just made a comment last night to a couple friends of mine. I went to the Fort LaBeouf again, girls
Right.
basketball game. And I said one of the most difficult things you'll ever encounter in your life is consistency. Consistency in the gym.
Mhm.
Even for those of us who are passionate about it, it's hard. It is so
Sure.
hard. It's so hard.
Because everything's pressing on your time. You
Your
know,
time,
everything.
you gotta catch the right energy levels, you gotta
Yeah.
everything's about timing.
Well, and I see that too, like I see, again, I have, the numbers, I have women coming in and out, during the day and at night and stuff, and they'll say, well, I did this, or I didn't do this, and I didn't do this, and I'm like, is life perfect? Absolutely not. So why do you think that you need to, your nutrition needs to be perfect, or
Right.
your workout needs to be perfect? Nothing in life is perfect, but if you are consistent with just that one thing that you're choosing to do, like I said, if you're like, oh, I'm gonna start running, that's great, be consistent with that. If you are gonna, take up a new sport or a hobby, that's great, be consistent with that. Perfection doesn't exist.
No.
I always say I hate that word. There's no such thing as perfection.
Not in
Shouldn't
this
even
world.
exist.
Not in this world.
Nothing.
And like you said, if you can take one hobby and be consistent with it. If you can be
Absolutely.
consistent with it, it's a domino effect throughout your lifestyle. believe it or
Totally.
not.
And
Totally.
you will see results if you are consistent with that. You
Yeah.
know, like it's, I say baby steps.
Mhm.
Baby steps, but if you're consistent with those little baby steps that you take every day, small things lead to big things. So small changes every day, like growth, you need growth. And sometimes you'll find personal growth, like within that. So you find more things that you're capable of doing. And then again, self-esteem and self-confidence, and then all of those radiate through you.
Yeah, and on that note, I'll tell you, just to get a little bit personal, when I started to exercise more, it was because I was dealing with some anxiety. And rather than, there are great meds out there for people, and, and depression, anxiety, all those things, there are different ways to treat it, but being active to a greater degree than you are currently active, let's just put it that way.
Right,
Is so important.
right.
And it was like a case of, I'd feel anxious, and then I'd go, walk the treadmill, or I'd walk a couple miles, and it's like, okay, I don't feel as anxious now.
Yeah.
That's a great motivator too, and not to say there's anything wrong with meds and treatment and therapy, that's all good, but they always say, exercise more. They always say, okay, here's a med, but try to exercise more.
Right.
Here's your therapy, but try to exercise more.
Mhm.
There's a reason why.
there is a reason why, and I think through like, again, go back to the pandemic and all of those things, like,
Mm-hmm.
everyone's mental health has taken its toll, and it's
Absolutely.
still there, like, but exercise is probably, the most underutilized, thing, and again, we have obesity, we have diabetes, we have all of those
Yep.
things, that actually have gotten worse over the pandemic, so, but if we just move a little bit, and I think once you do that, you do realize, like you said, you're like, oh, I do feel better.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
And surprisingly, I remember one morning, and I was just so anxious. It was a Saturday. And I was so anxious, I don't even remember what about. And I thought, okay, I'm just gonna go walk. And I went and I actually walked on a treadmill. And 45 minutes later, I'm like, well, isn't this interesting? My heart rate is lower than when I got on the treadmill.
Mhm.
Right? Isn't that counterintuitive? But,
Right.
it went to the peak of, exercise, and then it dropped back down to
Right.
lower than when I got there.
Right, and your anxiety level was
Yes.
probably higher when you got on.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, I wish more people would, just try it.
Yeah.
Just try it, go for a walk, or go, I hear a lot of times too, like, I don't have time.
Oh, you have time.
You do.
You
You
do.
have time.
You have time.
You have
have
time.
time,
I
because.
don't care who you are,
Yes,
you have time.
exactly. Like, okay, you
I will
don't have
argue
time.
that.
How much time did you spend on scrolling TikTok
Mhm,
today?
mhm.
How much time did you spend on social media today?
Yes,
You-
absolutely, you
you
have
How much,
time.
how much time on Netflix?
How
Yeah.
much time did you, yes, exactly, you're watching your favorite show. You have time, and if, I wish
I
people
res-
would just make that time.
I respect you more if you tell me it's not my thing and I'm not gonna make time for it.
Yeah, but I think though, Sam, and I know because I was that guy, I think if you find something that you go, I actually kind of like doing this.
Yes.
And like in my case, I was forcing myself into this box of, well, you can work out, but you should focus and and I'm like, no, I need to be distracted. I need a podcast. It wasn't even music, and I love music.
Mhm.
But I'm like, I need a podcast, a funny podcast specifically, and then I can do this and enjoy. You find a little approach that you like. Maybe it's working in a group setting.
Right.
Is totally different than being out there on your own, or maybe you like to be on your own. It's, you have to find the approach you like and sort of the techniques you like.
Well, and you do, you should like it, and it should be enjoyable to you, and you should feel better after.
Mhm.
And if it doesn't, then you're probably not doing the right thing for you.
Right.
So you have to find what works for you. Some people, they love yoga, and that works,
Sure.
and that works for them. So you have to find what works for you, what works for you. I find that, again, I do the women's group fitness, so I could have anywhere from like 8 to 14 women in there, but they all come in and they're talking about their day.
Yeah.
And so-and-so is asking about their children, and they're sharing recipes, and they have that camaraderie, and they actually inspire one another. So I think too, if you surround yourself with that and feed off of that energy and
Yeah.
those good vibes, it helps, it helps.
Camaraderie is huge.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
huge.
Sure. Even just if you have a workout partner, that's
Yeah,
a big deal.
right,
It's
absolutely.
huge, it really is.
And-
I enjoy working out alone, that way nobody can get in my way, nobody can slow me down. But last week I had one of my employees, he's 22 years old, he's 6'3",
Mhm.
he's into mixed martial arts, boxing, all this stuff.
I'm into Chex
Studies.
Mix and I'm 6'3".
Yes,
so.
you're right. So I have a machine at my house, UFC machine,
Yeah.
and I had him come over and I sent him through an hour of my routine, and it was just you can feed off each other. It's amazing.
Mhm.
It's absolutely amazing.
Yes, yeah, and that happens sometimes in my classes too, like, I usually we'll do like a partner workout, or we'll do like a circuit type, and everything is like, you can modify to your ability.
Right.
So they'll get to a station, like, oh, I don't know, that might be too heavy, and then Lily's like, you can do that, you got that, just try, you got that. And then they'll start doing it, and they're like, see, and then everyone's clapping, and everybody, like, it's nice to be, surrounded, like I said, by they empower one another, and it's amazing for me as a trainer and a coach to watch. Just watch them grow in like their self-confidence. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, another thing that led me to exercise, and you talked about it earlier, was I am a type 2 diabetic. And there were a couple things that happened when I was diagnosed, and I went to the classes at St. Vincent with the dietitian. It's like, people don't know where the sugar is, do they?
No, they
People
don't.
have no idea where the sugar is.
They
And
don't.
they're like, I don't eat candy bars. I don't have fancy coffee drinks with whipped cream. Guess what? You're getting a lot of sugar in
I
all
get-
kinds of places.
yes.
And sugar is so incredibly deadly.
It is.
I get the, I did so good today, and, they'll rattle off what they ate, and then throughout that conversation, I'll hear, well, I had a protein bar, and I'm like, and as soon as somebody says protein bar to me, I'm like, you just eat sugar, that's
Yeah.
that's what you had. Well, there's no sugars, it has sugar, alcohols, it has artificial, you had sugar, that wasn't breakfast.
Carbs are sugar. Carbs equal sugar.
Carbs equal sugars. Like your body doesn't know the difference. It's your body processes it differently, absolutely, but your body doesn't know the difference. Trust me, you had sugar.
Yeah.
I just had sugar.
Yes.
I
You
just
just
had
had
sugar.
sugar.
I
Or-
asked her
or-
to bring me a caramel latte.
or
I
ju-
just had sugar.
you know,
Just had sugar, absolutely.
Or you ate mashed potatoes, or
But
you
you're-
ate rice,
people
or you
aren't-
ate.
Exactly.
People are looking for the derivatives. People, go on. No, I want to hear yours.
Well, I think some people, they just don't know.
They don't know.
have the knowledge.
I didn't know until I was diagnosed. I didn't know.
Right, and you don't know, and so once you like start to, look into it, or you have a conversation with somebody who might know, then they go, oh, okay, well, that makes sense, or, oh, I didn't know that, so, but some people just don't know. Some people are like, well, I just had potatoes, or whatever, or, well, I eat potatoes like 3 or 4 times a week, and I'm going, well, that's sugar.
Oh, yeah, I had a friend, he put up something on social media years ago, and it was something about how he doesn't drink Pepsi. And then he was talking about this green tea drink he got at Starbucks, and I'm like, that's got more sugar than a can of Pepsi.
Yeah, and caffeine too.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, I'm not saying that you should, drink pop, but I'm
Right.
saying, when you really look at where the sugar's hiding, it's really interesting. And as you guys know, because you're in great physical condition, that sugar, it burns out so fast in your body, and your body reacts so differently than it does with protein and other forms of
Well,
food.
I don't think it's a form of ignorance. I think it's a form of unawareness.
It totally it is.
I think, I'll agree with that, and then I also think just denial. Some
Correct.
people are just in
Correct, yeah.
denial of that.
To make themselves feel better.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, and I try to preach the 80-20 rule, so, because we are human, we want to enjoy life, and
I love it. Oh my God, I preach the 80-20 rule.
Tell
Go
me.
on,
so
go on.
I follow the
80-20
80-20
all
rule.
the time.
Like, somebody's like, I'm going to a birthday party, what should I do? And I'm like, eat the cake,
Right?
drink the wine, because if you do what you're supposed to do, 80%, and then you live your life 20%, moderation over deprivation, by all means,
Yeah.
because we are human.
Say it again.
Moderation over deprivation.
Totally.
I'm
Because,
gonna start a pep rally.
because.
I love it. I'm gonna make signs and
We
carry them on the
are.
street.
We're human, and we want to enjoy life some. I mean, I love a good Donato's pizza, and trust me, I love Romulo's. Like,
Sure.
my car knows how to get there, like, it's on autopilot. So, but moderation.
Oh,
So
yeah,
a
totally.
shout out to Melody Mott, who on Facebook Live just said sugar is in everything.
Yes,
She
it
said stick
is.
to berries for all the natural healthy sugars.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially berries, if you eat the whole berry with the fiber. I mean, as a diabetic, I remember finding out about orange juice. It's like trying to explain to somebody why I can eat an orange and be okay, but not drink a big glass of orange juice. And the way
Right.
the fiber breaks that sugar down more slowly in your body, my pancreas, which is obviously not up to the task, can manage it better.
And I said, I think a lot of people, they just don't know. They
They
just
don't
don't know. Like, if I'm in, especially at Wegmans, if I'm going to Wegmans and I'm shopping or whatever, and I'll just see people reading ingredients and, which is great that they're reading the ingredients and they put it in, but then I look down and then there's like, process this and process that.
I was
and
just gonna say that,
Pre-made
so
this and pre-made
they're
that.
being
and I'm like,
conscious
"Oh,
of
yeah."
this one or maybe two items, but they're
Yeah,
not being
right.
Right,
conscious
yeah.
of what's already in that
Exactly,
cart.
exactly. Then I see all the frozen stuff that's all pre-made, and it was probably worse than what you were reading on the box. So, like, stick to, natural ingredients. It's true, shop the perimeter of the grocery store,
Mhm.
stay on the outside, unless you need peanut butter, because I love peanut butter, so. But yeah, stick to the outsides
The
and.
closer you get to the center of the store, the more sugar you'll find.
That's where the
Absolutely.
candy and cookies always
It's
are.
where
right.
the candies and cookies.
And a lot of people don't know that.
No, they don't know that. They do
No,
not, you're right.
no, and you'd be surprised that some people don't know what like qualifies, what's a fruit, what's a vegetable.
Mhm.
Like, I have that conversation too, and I'm like, no, that's really a
Well,
vegetable.
and a lot of people don't understand the education behind the carbohydrates, simple and complex carb.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally,
They
that's
don't
very
know
true,
that.
very true.
People think carbs are terrible for you. I'm like, no, simple carbs are bad for you.
I think it takes, and it's not a good thing, I think it takes, like, somebody, if you're not working out, or you're not watching what you're eating, and maybe you're not, you don't know too much about nutrition, but I think it takes one thing, like, to happen in their life,
Yeah.
whether it's with yourself or with somebody else, and you go, oh, I should, maybe pay attention to that, and it's sad that it takes somebody to go, oh, I
Sure.
was having chest pains and I had to go to the emergency room.
Yeah.
For them to go, oh my gosh, I need to get it together.
Yeah,
And it's sad that it gets to that point. So, like, it's just important that, like I said, 80-20, 80% living your life, doing what you're supposed to do, and 20% living your
I
life.
live my life like that now. It's an 80-20. I preach 80-20, and people don't know what that means.
And that's
Live your life 20% of the time. The other
absolutely,
80%, stay clean, stay healthy.
stay healthy,
Be
exactly.
aware of what's going on. Be aware of what you're putting in your mouth.
Avoid the processed foods and avoid, I say, like, somebody's like, well, I want pizza. That's great, go get the pizza, but don't eat McDonald's tomorrow.
Yes.
right,
Or,
absolutely.
moderation
Yeah.
is key, and I think that's another thing too, like, people think, like, I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna start eating, healthy and do all of these things, and I think they think that, because they're doing that, I think they think it's all or none. And it's
Right.
not all or
Right.
none.
It's not.
Right.
It's
But
not, because
also
that's not life.
understand you cannot out-train a bad diet.
You cannot out-train a bad diet. So, and I say that all the time, because if you can't control what's coming on your fork, you're gonna be a hamster on a wheel,
Yeah,
all 100%. So, but if you do it, 80%, you'll be fine, you'll see results.
well, yeah, and that's the thing, you just, start to make that shift, you don't have to, live like Liver King.
Exactly. Exactly.
Did you hear her accent?
I
Did you
did
hear
not.
her accent?
I do,
Listen
I
closely.
don't hear
She
it.
has an accent with certain things.
And I think too.
And Denise and I grew up together. Denise and I were neighbors.
Okay,
Yeah, and
We were, yes,
so,
we were.
yeah, your
I
accent.
said, I think his mom or somebody threw me out of the pool. I was.
She used to come over and swim in our pool. Was it mom?
I think it was mom. She's like, get out of the pool.
Mom?
She used to say, you Wilsons, get out of my pool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I could see that. Mom come out and flexed.
pretty sure it was me.
Yeah.
But,
Carry on.
yeah.
You know I like to derail.
oh, of course,
But, I do. I think people think all or none, and they think like, oh, I'm gonna be eating spinach all day. And
right,
it's just not the case. It's not the case, like, at all. Like, just try to do better and try to do, on that note too, like, you wanna set a good example for your children too, and that doesn't,
Sure.
So, and I try to do that too, like, maybe, maybe we'll make healthier choices. Let's make healthy choices.
Mhm.
You don't necessarily need to talk about all of it with children, because they are children, but let's make healthy choices. Maybe have healthier choices available in your
Yeah.
house for your children.
Yeah.
Have the fruits available, have the vegetables available. You'll find that if they're readily available, they're gonna reach for them,
oh, sure,
because they don't wanna, I know my daughter, she's like, what do we have? She doesn't wanna cook it.
yeah, exactly,
She doesn't wanna cook it, she doesn't wanna, prepare it. However, she is a good cook. But if it's ready, she'll eat it. And she'll grab the peppers and the fresh the tomatoes and, oatmeal. I make the overnight oats and
Mhm.
she'll heat those up in the morning. So if all of that stuff is available, like, they'll have a choice and they'll choose that option.
Have you always been active since you were a
No.
kid? Or did you
Well,
at some point discover?
well, little backstory, no. So, I mean, I played softball as a kid, but, no, I didn't start, like, my fitness journey. I was overweight, and I started having health problems, I would say in my early 30s.
Mhm.
And I ended up landed in myself in the ER and
Oh,
thought,
yeah.
I thought that I was having a heart attack.
Could it have been anxiety?
No,
Okay.
no. And I ended up having a full-blown, they kept me, and I ended up having a heart cath,
Oh, wow.
the full 9 yards. So they found out I have, it's called the left bundle branch block, which just means that I'm not wired like everybody
Mhm.
else. And from then on, I was like, okay, I need
Yeah.
to do
So
whatever.
that was your wake-up call?
That was my wake-up call. I need to do whatever I can to stay above ground. And so from then, I just started, trying to push myself, nothing crazy.
Did you join a gym immediately, or how did you start for yourself?
Actually, my middle daughter works out, and she's my rock. And she was like, Mom, she's like, my house was here, and a stop sign was here, and she's like, run to the stop sign. I said, I can't run to the stop sign. She said, run to the stop sign. And I said, okay. So for a week, I would just walk out my front door, run a half a block to the stop sign. And then she's like, do that for a week. The following week, she's like, okay, now run to the next stop sign. And eventually I did that, and she lives out of town. And eventually I did that, and she came home, and her and I ran a 5K together. And I
Oh, wow.
ran 3 miles with her. Didn't think I could do it, but that's how I started. And then I had my youngest daughter or whatever, and I just, this certain moments in my life where I was like, okay,
Yeah.
you've got to do this. And I lost my mom a while ago, also to cancer, and I watched, so it was,
Yeah.
she had back pain one day, and, I think my brother called me, and he's like, Mom can't get down the stairs, and she's, only 66. And I said, what was going on, and she just couldn't move, and she passed away 9 days later. So,
Wow.
cancer just all through her, so.
Incredibly sad.
So just different moments in my life where I was like, I gotta get it together. I gotta get it together, so for myself, get it together. So here I am.
Can you
I'm loving it.
Can you remember, and it's been a while, so can you remember the feeling of being out of shape and tired?
Yeah.
Because there's
And-
you know what I mean, it's like you're
Absolutely.
just, everything's a slog.
Absolutely. So yes.
That's a memory you want to hold on to.
So
Yes, it is.
yes, and don't get me wrong, I'm still tired.
Oh, sure.
But I do get tired, but I'm doing the most. But I just remember like, just daily things, whether it was just trying to, chase my child around Chuck E. Cheese or whatever the case may be, like going, shoot, I'm exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you really think about it, you really didn't do much. So, and to
Mhm.
be exhausted over not much, so I just remember feeling,
Melody Mott said congratulations on the 5K.
Oh,
There you go.
I feel like, I was in sloth. I just felt, just felt tired, and a lot of it was nutritionally also too. So, you're just not eating right and doing all of the things that you should be doing. And that's another thing too. I think if people would try, like, take a week, just give yourself a week. And a week's not a long time. Give yourself a week change up your nutrition just a little bit. And at the end of the week, if you really, really, really listen to your body and analyze every day and go, how did I feel? Ask yourself, how did you feel? And you'll find like, oh, I did feel better.
Yeah.
I did feel better.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of funny because as you say that, I think about like the years of getting stuff up for Lent, you know? Like last year, and I will do it again this year, I gave up Facebook. And I was like a week later, I'm like, it was like when I quit smoking, I'm like, oh, why did I ever like that so much? But you know, if people give up maybe candy or sweets for
Right.
Lent,
Mhm.
and you know, if you're real, like you said, if you really listen to your body probably after 2 weeks is going, this is kind of nice.
And some people actually don't even take the time to listen, like to stop and listen to their body. Like at the end of the day, like really truly ask yourself,
Yeah.
like, how did I feel? You know, I have a few nutrition clients that I do, and I have some men also that I do, but one comment he had made,
Explain this to the listeners.
So-
Explain this because, hold on, because it's an all-girls gym.
correct.
Okay, so explain this to the people listening so they understand.
So I do have nutrition clients that maybe are trying to lose weight,
Male and female.
male and
okay.
female.
So the gym is only for the women.
The women, correct.
But if you need nutritional help,
Okay.
Exactly, I will help you. But
I
so
just want the listeners
yes.
to understand that.
I
Yes.
I appreciate that. So I do have a few guys that I do their nutrition for, but a comment that he had said to me that sticks with me, to this day, and I think he might even be down like 40 pounds or so, and he's doing remarkable. But he said to me, he loves how he can have dinner or whatever the case, lunch, whatever, and he doesn't feel like he ate Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, yeah.
So because every
Yeah.
meal he ate, he would feel like it was Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And he just felt, you're tired, you're bloated, you feel miserable, you ate too much, but he would feel that way constantly. And that's one
Oh.
thing that resonates with me, what he said. He's like,
I was right there with him. I understand that totally.
yeah, he eats now and he's like, I don't feel like, I ate Thanksgiving all day.
Yeah, it's funny because you get in a frame of mind where you're like, I'm not gonna be satisfied unless I have this amount of food. And so every meal you're having this huge amount of food, and then it just becomes the norm. But you're a slug afterwards.
Exactly.
And you don't ever think, well, maybe I shouldn't feel this way after I eat.
And some people too have that where they don't feel satisfied until they feel full.
Mhm.
But it's up
If
here.
you-
Totally.
If you eat slower, they always say count how many times you chew, maybe have a conversation during your meal.
Mhm.
If you slow down the process,
Drink
You won't
plenty of
need as
water,
Drink water.
Sam.
And actually,
AC.
that's funny because I almost brought you a bottle of water because I know you don't hydrate. Almost did. I was like,
AC.
dang it.
She's on my team.
I did. I almost brought you water. But like people
that was
are.
good, I like that.
See?
That was good.
People are like, I'm gonna eat, like, there you go. But
Oh,
there-
show off, go on, show off.
32 ounces of
Yeah,
Mary's Finest.
he's drinking water,
Yes.
show off.
but
Always.
before,
I
like,
understand.
you eat your dinner or your lunch, if you're still hungry, and like, give yourself 15 minutes before you go back up
Yeah.
for seconds.
Yes.
Take a pause. Are you really hungry? Because 9 times out of 10, you're not. But just because you have to let your food settle.
It's absolutely true.
You have to
It's-
let your food settle, so. it is-
Slow down and allow your body to start digesting.
Absolutely, of course, I'm so busy, I meet like 1 foot out the door, but it's, yeah,
You
slow
have 2
down.
feet, you're allowed.
I know, it's crazy, but yeah, listen to your body and give yourself 10 minutes or, whatever the case may be, but
If
people.
you haven't heard, this is Denise Peterson with Consistency Over Perfection.
But
And she is at,
yes.
4801 Peach Street.
which is by,
It's in the Steel City Pizza Plaza. And no, you can't work out and go get pizza.
they can. they
Although
just
it
won't
is
get
good
result-
pizza.
It is good pizza.
It is good
They
pizza.
won't get results.
But I do want to say though, and people shouldn't skip meals, but there was a time in my life where I thought, you know, if I just eat some cheese and some nuts, you know, that'll never do me. There are days where that's my lunch, and that's all I need. You know, I eat a little protein, have a little cheese, some eggs, the very expensive eggs, whatever. And if you listen to your body, there are days where it goes, that's all I need for this meal.
Mhm.
And that's a good thing to sort of be able to sort of put into your routine.
And I think that, that is good. I'm not a fan of skipping meals.
Right.
Because that just leads to overeating at
And-
your next meal.
And with my
then
blood
you
sugar,
over-
I can't do
So
that.
And
you're not a fan of intermittent fasting?
I am not a fan of intermittent
Right.
fasting. I am not a fan.
That's a big thing today.
I know.
Because I feel like, especially with women and hormones, and as we age, your body needs those nutrients to operate and to
Yeah.
survive. So why would you deprive yourself of those? So, and again, hormonally, it's not good. But like I hear people say, well, I'm not gonna have lunch, but I'm going to have, and they'll eat a bar, or, they're drinking a shake or whatever, like, it's okay, eat your food and eat healthy nutrients. If you're not hungry and you're going to like skip a meal, like you said, have the cheese,
Yeah.
have the nuts, have a handful of berries, have
Mhm.
something like that, but don't go towards something that isn't healthy, because
Right.
it's not gonna sustain you. You're gonna be hungry in 15 minutes.
Totally, that's something I learned from being diabetic, is obviously, if you go, oh, I'm gonna skip lunch and eat a big dinner, it does me no good for
No.
controlling my blood sugar. And I believe, and I think you do too, that the body actually operates better with a little food,
A little bit.
a little food.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And years ago, I would never have been able to do that and say, oh, I just want a little bit for lunch today. I'm not wired like that.
Right. No, and you need to too, to keep your levels up and everything. You
Yeah.
have to like keep the nutrients going, and it's important. Like, I hear the fasting and things, and
Mhm.
again, my gym and my ladies, and they're all talking, and then I have to go, excuse me, what did you say? Or what did I hear? Or if I hear them put themselves down or something,
Yeah.
like I'm going, excuse me, what did you say? No. And then we go through the, repeat after me, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am amazing. Like, women undervalue who they are and what they're capable of and what they do.
Yeah, they do. They certainly do. And unfortunately, our society supports that in so many ways.
It does, and it's sad, and what's even sadder is it's like, it's still that way.
Yes, it's subtle now. It's not
it
as
is,
overt,
it
but it's
is, but
there.
it's still there, and I just think that, you know what, women are amazing. We do amazing things every day. And
Absolutely.
People are on Facebook Live helping. People are commenting. And Melody Mott said digestion, 30 to 45 minutes. She's also helping you advertise, 4801 Peach Street.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Skip Kelly, shout out. Skip Kelly, shout out.
Ah.
There are people commenting.
I know, Skip.
Yeah, how about that? That's what he said. That's what he said. Mama Bear gave me advice that was extremely easy, but has changed me drastically.
Thank you, Skip.
Mary Kingston commented, Jack Lee, Opie, just going through them all.
Yay!
And it says Tara Zelinsky, but that's not, that's Tom. Tom's sitting there commenting. Tom creeps her Facebook. It's funny. It's funny because
It's fun.
he doesn't do Facebook, so he uses hers. So anytime we get a comment from Tara, I know it's Tom. But
But-
Okay.
Yeah.
consistency over perfection. That's why we're here.
Yes.
Absolute. I said I love it. I love, I love what I do. I love that I get to do this every day.
Now, are classes booked? Are you
So-
maxed out?
Currently, my Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday class is completely booked. I have, the only availability I do have is Friday from 4:30 to 5:30, Monday from 4:30 to 5:30, and Sunday at 9 a.m.
And we're talking to women only.
That is correct.
Okay.
Women
Now,
only.
if the men or women need
If men or,
nutritional
yes,
advice
absolutely.
or
If
a
you
plan
need,
written,
absolutely. If you
how do
need,
they contact you?
they can contact me at 814-823-4992.
All right. Thank you so much.
I thank
Great having you
you
here.
so
Tomorrow,
much.
Oh, big show.
is Catania Chronicles number 50. Tomorrow it'll be the first full show I've without a guest. So
Yes.
tomorrow we're gonna talk about the inside story of Sam Catania Painting. So
Mhm.
if you, for the people who hate our TV commercials, I'm gonna go into very involved detail as to why we do them so you'll understand.
Yes. What they used to say on MTV, you think you know, but you have no
You think
You
idea.
think you know, but you have no idea.
There it is. All right.
And thanks to Denise Peterson, consistency over perfection.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you so much. And
Thanks,
that's
Cece,
it.
hope you feel better.
Thank you, sir. We'll be
Yeah.
back tomorrow.
I do, I hope you feel better.
Okay. How about that? Isn't that easy to make? Come on.
I'm sweating, but I did, yeah.
No need to sweat.
No.
No need to sweat. You sweat when you work out. How you do
Right, I know. And I was like
Well,
to
I gotta-
congratulate you on like you have your diabetes and you're listening to your body and doing all of those things.
Oh,
So
yeah. Oh, yeah.
that's important.
It's, you know, when I was diagnosed, and it was like, I remember I went and I gave blood, and they said, like that afternoon, they said,